Give me a couple minutes with God. We're on Genesis chapter 18, and a lot happened. I'm going to try to do it in a little bit of time here. So, the chapter is called The Three Visitors. There were these three visitors that visited Abraham, and Abraham fell face to the ground immediately. So he already kind of knew that these three visitors were something special. They were angels. They were something sent from God. And so basically, he pleaded with the three visitors and said, hey, let me give you something to eat, something to drink. And they said, okay, do as you say. And so he hurried to Sarah and he said, quick. He said, get 3 seahs of the finest flour and knead it and bake some bread. Man, I bet that was so good back in the day because everything was like freshly made. I was like, dang, I got hungry reading that. But anyways, while they ate, he stood near them under a tree. Abraham did. Going back down towards a little bit, after the three visitors, they told Abraham, hey, your wife Sarah is going to bore a child. And then here's what Sarah did. Sarah was low key. She was eavesdropping and she laughed and she was like, I'm too old. Like, I can't do this. Like, there's no way. And then I like what God said back here. He said, is anything too hard for the Lord? So I always got to remember that too. When things get hard and difficult in my life, I need to remember, is anything too hard for God? And that's what you guys need to remind yourselves of as well. Anyways, he said to Sarah, why did you laugh? And then Sarah was like, I did not laugh. And he said, yes, you did laugh. And that was it. He gone. The God left. So then it goes to Abraham pleads for Sodom. And then here, Abraham and the Lord had this one-on-one talk, and basically he asked him, what if there are 50 righteous people in the city of Sodom and Gomorrah? And God said, I will spare them. And then he said, Abraham said, what is this 5 less than 50? And God said, I will spare them. Then Abraham was low-key, he was still trying to talk to God to make sure that he will spare the righteous in Sodom and Gomorrah. And he said, what if only 20 can be found there? And God said, I will save the 20. And then he said, what if 10 can be found there? God said, I will spare the 10. And then the Lord had finished speaking with Abraham. He left and Abraham returned home. So that's the gist of Genesis chapter 18. Hope you guys enjoyed it and hope you guys have a blessed day.